Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in right here, Fantasy Life with you for the next couple of hours, breaking down everything you need to know. Thursday night football is upon us. We've got a lot of news, Adam. Well, we got the quarterback news already, but we're going to break down what each of these quarterbacks mean to us going into week 3. And we're just getting ready. How are you? How's it going?
Going well, getting ready for football to resume here in week 3. Not the most appealing matchup, but
No.
Bills Dolphins. But hey, a lot of fantasy players involved in this game and a total of 50 and a half points. So hopefully
Hey,
we get some fireworks and at least an entertaining game.
how much for the Bills? What's the Bills team total of
It's
that?
got to be around
It's got to be
30.
up there. Yeah, it's got to be up there. Yeah, I think the only thing that I saw was for tonight's game, and we'll get into everything. Hello everyone. Welcome in fantasylife.com. That's where you can go use that start sit tool because I know we get a ton of start sit questions beginning today, Adam. So if we don't get to them on the phone lines or through Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, make sure you go over to fantasylife.com, use that start sit tool, and it's really good. You can sync your leagues and it'll obviously pull all of your scoring settings and give you the best data that you need. And so I think the only thing that I saw for this game tonight was that we're still a little bit questionable with Jalen Waddle, right? I know that Ian Rappaport said the Dolphins, quote, hope that Jalen Waddle is able to play against the Bills, and it's a shoulder injury. He was added as a limited participant on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I think to me, I thought they were just maybe being a little bit cautious with him, but you want to check back in when the inactives come out, like an hour plus before the game starts.
Yeah, and then, usually he'll be in the game and then get banged up again and go to
Stop.
the sideline and maybe come back in because that's what he does. But, Malik
Uh,
Washington would be next in line. He's pretty good. I know in some deep formats, he was drafted, maybe people holding on to him, and in case a Tyreek Hill trade happens. But Malik Washington would be interesting in that scenario.
Hmm. I think Pete wrote him up in the newsletter this morning. So you guys
Oh,
again
I
can
didn't
go
read it
check
yet.
that
I
out.
got to check it
Oh,
out.
what? Come on.
I
It's a,
mean,
it was
it's
a
early.
it's a
Come
good
on.
one. What are you
I always
talking
read
about?
it.
I read it. It's 7 in the morning.
Yeah, but you're up earlier than me.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I will say that Pete did write him up. And so it is a really good call out because, yeah, Tyreek Hill, we don't know what could happen during the rest of the season. But he said one thing you can certainly do is stash Malik Washington. So it's a good call out.
Oh, I
Maybe I
see
should
it
write
right
him
now.
up.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Look at that. It's like you guys are on the same page.
Well, I
I
did
do like
draft.
the
So I did draft them in like 20 round leagues. I don't remember if I still have them or maybe even deeper best balls. I mean, look, when we've seen him get the opportunity on the field, I mean, he's good. So
yeah.
there's also the chance too of a coaching change at some point. We're all on the Mike McDaniel watch as well, and
Yeah.
like if they get destroyed tonight, do they make a move or is it too early?
May it might be too
If
early. I
I
don't know,
don't
but it's an island game, so if they
right,
get I mean, if they
they
get
get
absolutely
embarrassed.
embarrassed,
I
yeah.
could see it.
Look at us, best friends. Yeah, it's one of those things where if they get embarrassed, then probably. But Malik Washington is a really good call out. Is he available in our league? No. If you're talking about him, he's not.
In our
In
GST league?
GST, yeah.
I
You
don't
might want to
know.
go look, actually. I've been beaten out every single day this week by $4, $6 more on these bids. It's not even GST, it's everywhere. Guillotine leagues, my home league. It's just sometimes you just have to shake your there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
We
there
knew that
is.
what? Bid more? You
Spend
just told me
more. Yeah,
yesterday to not spend that much.
that was the
What are we talking?
guillotine league. You
What are we
wanted to
talking
spend
about?
like $400 on a
I
quarterback
wanted to
again.
spend like $200
So
because
you
I
didn't get a
have no
quarterback?
quarterback. No. I
Oh
got Mac
boy.
Jones, and here we are.
Who?
Brock Purdy's stop.
Ah,
I'm not
damn
gonna
it.
do
I'm gonna
it.
get you once. You're
I'm
gonna
not
get
gonna
caught
do
slipping.
it.
I'm gonna do it.
I am totally ready to go today. But no, and then we get the news that Mac Jones, no, stop. Brock Purdy might be able to play this week, or he was back at practice. That's the one you want to be careful about that one. But we expected the 2 week timeline, but that is something that if he is able to go, obviously the people that spent money on Mac Jones, you're a little bit nervous about it.
Yeah, for sure. In especially in super flex leagues where maybe you were hoping to get a guy for multiple weeks, it looks like there's a chance that Purdy is back. Again, it doesn't mean he's going to return. They just said it was a chance. And Malik Washington is rostered in our
Dang
GST league.
it.
Our
Is
guy
it
Truck,
you?
who's probably listening.
Yeah. Shut out. Except just kidding, I'm jealous. So maybe if you want to drop him, I'll drop another player and we can do it that way since we don't have trades in that league. But yeah, my waiver wire bids, some of them were okay. I saw some people, messaging saying they didn't get everything that they needed, but
I just
it was another tough week.
I didn't see the need to spend a lot this week. Now, again, every circumstance is different as far as what you need. Clearly, quarterbacks were the need for many
Yeah.
teams. But outside of that, like just wasn't a lot in the deeper formats. Shallow formats, there's clearly more options every week, but in the deeper formats this week, I just didn't even put in a lot of bids, which is
hmm
very unlike me. I just didn't see a lot this week.
Feels like it's been like that for the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, which is
We haven't had much, which is odd. Usually
well,
the first two are and they still are important, but I could see some down the line here where if we continue to get injuries or guys start showing up a little bit, that there might be guys later on, but these first 2 weeks haven't been phenomenal.
yeah, not what we typically see because usually you wind up adding a player that can help you the entire year. We just haven't seen it. Again, a lot of it is it's usually the running back off the waiver wire that makes the big splash and helps your team. And we just haven't seen injuries at the running back position so far. The only significant one is Aaron Jones. And as we've said multiple times, Jordan Mason is drafted in every league. He was going in the 8th, ninth, 10th round. So he's the guy that's going to step in. So there just hasn't been anyone. And nowadays, too, all the top backups are taken
Oh yeah.
as well. So it's really going to be a guy that maybe comes out of nowhere off the waiver wire, or sometimes you get those years where you don't get much. Uh, and I know you would like that to happen because you root
What
for injuries.
what are we talking? Where did this come from? Where when did this happen here? Anyone listening knows that I would never say that. No,
I don't
stop it.
know.
Get
Some
out of
people
here.
were replying in the comments yesterday,
Some
like, "Yeah, I
you know
did
what?
hear
Some
Kendall."
people were. I said, whose side are you on? Hang on. No, we just hope it gets maybe a little bit better. But the one that I did want to mention this morning, because there wasn't a lot of news from our show. We talked already about, Justin Fields not being able to play. We broke that down at the end of our show yesterday. But we're going to talk about the quarterback dilemmas, all the backup quarterbacks coming in here in the next segment. The only other pieces of news I saw was again, if you have Jalen Waddle, the reports are that they hope he is able to play in week 2 against the Bills. If we for some reason today get news that he's not, obviously you're going to have enough time to pivot because this is the Thursday night game. And then the other one I mentioned a little bit earlier, but Brock Purdy has a chance. The quote was chance to play this week per the San Francisco 49ers. They're going up, I think they're home. Yeah, they're home against the Arizona Cardinals this week. So he was limited last week, and Shanahan did say he has a chance to play. So it's the toe left shoulder injuries that he suffered after week 1 when they won that game. Again, we're just gonna have to wait and see. It's unfortunate if you did go pick up Mac Jones if this is the way that it's turning out to be, but unfortunately, this is more of a wait and see situation.
Yeah, I mean, the practice the next 2 days will really tell the story of whether or not Brock Purdy is able to go.
Yeah, maybe it's just all smoke, right? They want him
Could
to
be.
plan for
Yeah.
Brock Purdy and whatever, or have to plan for both. Sometimes they do that.
Yeah, you
So
see that a lot.
yeah, so we'll just again, unfortunate wait and see situation. I can't. If you picked up Mac Jones just for this news to come out, I would have screamed. But we get it. It's weird. We'll just keep an eye on that one. Thursday night football tonight. That's the one. Again, I know we're going to be opening up the phone lines here, taking some of those start sit questions. Hopefully it's going to be a battle, Adam, but I do not think that it is going to be that back and forth. But when you look at, lineup blocks, obviously you're looking at Josh Allen, Achan, James Cook. Tyreek Hill had a good week last week, so I feel like he could be someone that you're in there. But we've got a lot of fringe starting options, right? If you have a Keon Coleman, if you have a Jalen Waddle, I think those are two interesting ones where you're like, okay, Keon Coleman a couple weeks ago showed us that he has a ceiling, but then came back down to earth last week. So with Keon Coleman, what are your expectations? Where would you kind of have him in your ranks this week?
Yeah, he's tricky because it really comes down to, how competitive the game is. We saw week 1 when it was really competitive, he had a huge game where it was back and forth and they put up 41 points. Now, they could put up 41 points
I
in
could.
this game, but it's how how do they get there? Do they put up points early and then backups come in? So that's the tricky part, and it's going to be like this almost all season with the Bills, where you're trying to figure out, okay, what week can I start these receivers and these skill position players because they just spread the ball around so much. So
Yeah.
especially early, like he could break a 40-yard touchdown early in the game, but it's tough with Coleman. But I think this week, because of the defense he's going up against, he's closer to the wide receiver 3 territory. So I think if you have him, you're probably going to use him. Probably the same with Khalil Shakir as well.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, and Dalton Kincaid has a good matchup too. He's done well against Miami in the past, and they play a lot of zones. So yeah, I mean, look, the problem is they're all not going to go off.
Yeah, no, one of them's not gonna come through for you. Probably the one in, my lineup, but that's fine. We'll break that down the next day. But yeah, Keon Coleman, I mean, it was one of those things earlier in the week where we said, "Hey, you just had to downgrade the Bills wide receivers in general a little bit," because when you looked at Keon Coleman, I have him this week wide receiver 40, which feels, I mean, it
That's
feels
about
about
right.
right. It's
Yeah.
it's fringe. He's right on, like you said, he's right on the line of being okay. He is startable if you have other options. Again, fantasylife.com, we've got that start sit tool, but no Bills receiver reached a 70% route participation rate in week 2. So it's just one of those up and down kind of things that it feels like we're going to have the entire season. So I downgraded most of those guys. But again, wide receiver 40 does put him in a range where you say, oh, okay, he could be potentially startable tonight. Hopefully it's just a good game. That's all I want. A good game.
Yeah, what you really want to see if you have Bills players is Miami come out and open with an early lead. So this
Yep.
pushes the Bills to play, and you never know. Maybe you get a back and forth game. It is a divisional game. We know Miami is capable of putting up points, but that's what you want to see if you have the Bills skill position players. You want to see Miami stay competitive in this game to push the Bills to pass the ball more or really put their foot on the pedal.
Tyreek Hill, when we look at him, I can't remember where I have him. It looks like I'm with him at, man, I always spell, I don't know how I keep doing this, Adam. How many times have we spelled Tyreek Hill's name? I've got him wide receiver 21. So
Of
again,
all
that's,
the receivers to give you trouble with
I know.
spelling Tyreek
It
Hill.
always auto corrects, and I'm just like, oh, where I don't do I not have him ranked? I don't know. Leave me alone. It's an early Thursday morning. Wide receiver 21 is well, get out of here. Is where I have him ranked this week. I know we talked earlier about Tyreek Hill. 69 utilization score, ranks second on the team in target share right now, 21%. Of course, behind Devon Achan. If you have Devon Achan, you are starting him every single week, and he is a set it and forget it kind of guy. But did downgrade him just obviously a little bit, maybe more high end wide receiver. Low end wide receiver 2 status is where I have him for this week. But again, he was able to give you fantasy points last week, and that's all you wanted to see. We'll wait and see if Jalen Waddle's good to go. But yeah, good with Tyreek Hill this week. I'm sure
I
it'll
mean,
be
the
great.
the good news for Tyreek Hill is he finally had that 30-yard plus reception. Last week he had a 47-yard reception after he was being asked about it and wasn't happy. He went a full year without a 30-yard reception, which is just
Really?
mind-boggling. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know
So
that.
he finally did it last week. So again, you expect Miami to play from behind in this game, and you just hope Tyreek Hill gets peppered with targets.
Please, 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 please. We need it. We need something good to talk about after Thursday night football. And then on the other side, again, you've got it's Josh Allen. It's the Buffalo Bills. I'm sure we don't have many questions on who those locks are, but Josh Allen is probably just looking to torch this Dolphins defense, and that's probably the expect. It was the 0 touchdowns, right? What was that stat from last week? He's probably looking to bounce back from that.
Yeah,
To be
so I
honest.
looked and he only did it once last year. He had
Oh,
one
okay.
game last year with no touchdown passes or no touchdowns rushing, and he did that last week. Again, they were in control the entire game against the Jets. You hope that Miami again can give them a little bit more pushback. But uh, Josh Allen is 7-0 at home in every game he's played the Dolphins.
Wow. So, I mean, we kind of know what's coming for that one. I think Miami too. I mean, we've seen them in the last 2 weeks. They've allowed Daniel Jones, Drake May to throw 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, right? In those, and each of them ran for 2 touchdowns. So they've just struggled. The Dolphins getting off the field is the one thing that you just have to watch out for. And I think the Bills have obviously too many weapons. They can run it with James Cook. They've got all these different pass catchers that they are obviously going to spread it around to. So they're not to say that there's no chance here, but at least we're just hoping for fantasy points in this one. And it should be fun. We got Thursday Night Football. Look at us go. You should take the Dolphins for fun in
What the
Survivor.
hell no. I'm trying to survive. I ain't trying to get eliminated in week 3.
This week felt a little bit better than last week in Survivor. I was putting my picks in last night.
Oh, this week?
Yeah. I'm actually feeling okay about this week. Which you know what
Really? I
what
don't
that
know.
means.
I felt better
You
last
know what's
week.
gonna happen on Monday is I'm gonna say, well, I did not
So,
survive.
okay, I'm gonna guess who you're
Okay,
going
hang
with
on. Let
then.
me log in here. I'm not prepared this morning.
I
Look
think
at
you're
me.
gonna go with Seattle with one of them.
Uh-huh.
Would you? I think you might go Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
even though they're on the road,
I don't
and
care.
Tampa would be another one.
I'm going Packers
Packers.
on
Okay,
my
I
last
thought
one.
about that
Yeah.
too. Are you throwing the
Yeah.
Bills in there?
No.
Are you
I'm
trying
gonna
to
wait.
save them?
I'm trying to save them. I've saved the Bills, I've saved the
The Ravens.
Eagles, I've saved the Ravens. Yeah. So you're right. Kansas City, Green Bay, Seattle. What could go wrong? After I
Nothing.
say it
Nothing
feels
at
like an
all.
easy week. Though the one that scares me the most is Seattle at home against New Orleans. I don't
Yeah,
know. Could be up
the
and down.
Saints have been.
I
It's not
know.
like they've been competitive so far.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Have you made your picks yet?
No, those are the teams I was considering though.
Yeah. I went Green Bay because it feels right in that one. And then the Chiefs, I'm just gonna be like everyone else, assuming that they're not gonna go 0-3, but we never know what could happen there. But it is against the Giants, so I'm just saying that if there's any time I look through their schedule coming up too, and just with the way that they've started, it's been one of those things where I'm not necessarily confident. They go up against the Ravens. I do think they can win in Jacksonville, but then they take on the Lions, divisional game against the Raiders. They take on the Commanders, so their next kind of schedule is one where I wouldn't be as comfortable taking them.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
you have to look at those things. If a team has a good matchup that you don't plan to use most of the year, you want to try and get that team out of the way. I think sometimes people try and save teams too much, and it backfires because you get eliminated. So if you do have a layup with an elite team, sometimes you just want to take it just to move on. I thought about that last week with Baltimore, and I said no, I'm going to save them, and
Yeah,
good thing I did.
I agree. When are we ever going to pick the Panthers? That's what I was looking
Never.
at.
No,
I was
that's one
like,
team you will not pick. No
I
chance.
said,
And
okay, the
it's the
Falcons.
opposite. You're picking
Uh,
against the Panthers every week. Let me
yes.
see. So I think I actually have so far. Last week was Arizona, and I took them, and that was a sweat. So I did go
Yep.
against them last week. And week 1, who did they play week 1?
They had, hang on, the
Jags.
Jaguars.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I did not mess with that.
Mm-mm. Yeah, we are never going to pick the Panthers. Yeah, no. Man, they've got a tough, they've got,
The
they take
reason
on the
why
Bills and the Packers back
this
to back.
week I'm not going against the Panthers because it's a divisional game, and I do think obviously the Falcons are the better team. Their defense is really improved
Hmm.
with Atlanta, but on the road in a divisional game this early in the year, and also we see those 0-2 teams usually perform well. They might not win all the time, but it's basically they know that it's an important game. So
Yep.
I'm not going to bet against the Panthers this week in Survivor.
All right, let's go through all the questions that people have. I know him. We see him at K Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis. Let's go through the quarterback rankings, but more specifically, the quarterback dilemmas that you might have this week. We're going to talk through Jake Browning, our expectations for him, where we have some of those receivers ranked: Carson Wentz, Tyrod Taylor, potentially Marcus Mariota. That's where we're at this week, Adam. Those are 4 quarterbacks that might actually, well, 3 of them we know are getting the start, and then maybe Marcus Mariota on Sunday. So let's talk through what these offenses could look like if we're upgrading, downgrading who, coming up next. Oh, we are here on this Thursday. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. We're getting you ready not only for Thursday night football, but for week 3 in the NFL and your fantasy football teams. Got a message from Christopher Adam saying, tuning in with a hot cup of Folgers and wearing my Crocs. Love it. Heck yeah. Look at us.
Okay.
Now he's got Crocs money.
Yeah.
He's got money. Those are again wildly expensive. Wait, I thought maybe some fun Christmas presents. No, it's not going to happen.
I feel like you are going to buy a Seahawks one.
Maybe if I see them on sale, right? Or maybe some blue ones. I don't know. I don't know. Could be fun. We're Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you right here, breaking down the quarterback dilemmas and what the heck is going on this week, Adam. I do not know, but we get a lot of the backups here, and starting with the Cincinnati Bengals, the backup that we're going to get probably, like, obviously the most of the season here compared to all the other ones. But Jake Browning's coming into town, Adam, and he is ready to go. We have Jake Browning consensus right now, and it's back and forth. Like Ian has him QB 26 and Friedman has him QB 20. So our consensus is QB 23 at fantasylife.com. And the one thing here, their upcoming schedule for the Bengals, it's not amazing. They're at the Vikings, they are at the Broncos, and they are home against the Lions. That is a pretty tough schedule when you're looking at it for Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals here. But the one thing is that we've seen him in this spot before, and he has shown that he is going to be able to at least get the ball around. Went 4-3 as a starter, completed 70% of his passes for Cincinnati. That was back in 2023. And he's given us, he's averaged what am I looking at? 267 pass yards per start. And again, that's 7 in 2023. He also has 4 career rushing touchdowns. So you're really hoping that he gets in there. It's not going to be pretty, Adam. That's the thing. We already saw that. He had the 3 interceptions when he went in to take over Joe Burrow's place on Sunday. It's not going to be pretty, but you're just hoping that, again, gets the ball to Jamar Chase. T. Higgins, I think, is the biggest faller out of anyone in these rankings. But yeah, if you picked up Jake Browning, you know you're going to have him for at least 3 months. So
Yeah, I think more so in super flex leagues is where you're definitely starting them. I think in leagues where you start one quarterback, you hope to have a better option. Maybe those with Joe Burrow had to pick him up in a one quarterback league. Again, it depends on the format. There are some people that roster 2 quarterbacks, sometimes 3. So maybe your options were limited. You look back at what he did in 2023 and it gives you some hope, but this upcoming schedule is not kind at all. We see Minnesota this week. They allowed 210 passing yards and 1 touchdown to Caleb Williams in week 1. Williams did add 58 yards on the ground and a rushing touchdown, and then Michael Penix only had 135 passing yards last week. Now, that was because they ran the ball so well that they didn't pass that much. So I think Penix had about 21, 22 passing attempts. So that's why the numbers were so low. We know that's not going to be the case with Cincinnati. They are going to pass more. So it's not the ideal matchups coming up for Browning.
yeah, and here's the thing though, we know that he's good enough, right, to be able to manage this team. And that's really all that you want. You want someone that can at least go in there and look salvageable at the very least. So T Higgins, like I said, I think he's the one that took the biggest hit. I don't think it's going to be as bad as people are thinking, right? If you're a T Higgins manager, obviously it doesn't look good. But no one is Joe Burrow, and that's the one thing. So I think with this Vikings defense, especially, they have held opposing receivers to 7.6 points below their average. So he's more of a wide receiver 3 for week 3 when I'm talking about T Higgins. And again, if you have Jamar Chase, you're starting Jamar Chase everywhere. You just have to. You just hope that, again, they look around. They're using some of their weapons, and that's the other thing for Jake Browning too. He's not going into a team that doesn't have much for him. There's a lot there, and they could get Chase Brown going a little bit. He's got T Higgins. He's got Jamar Chase, so he has the weapons to succeed. I'll mention Mike Gesicki, but he does have the weapons to at least be salvageable in this offense, and I think that's important.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, his receiving yards prop is as low as 68 and a half
Wow.
this week on BetMGM. So it is high as 71 and a half on DraftKings. But yeah, that is the hit that he has
Not
taken. You
great.
usually do not see it that low for Jamar Chase.
Don't look, Jamar Chase managers. Just set the lineup and don't watch. That's what we're going to say here. Might be the same thing for Carson Wentz. And yes, Carson Wentz is, someone messaged me. I can't believe Carson Wentz is still in the league. I said, you know what? I didn't know that either, to be totally honest. But McCarthy's return date is unknown. They said that he is not expected to be out long term. Again, this was an injury that we weren't really necessarily expecting. He was able to finish out that game. JJ McCarthy was. Their upcoming schedule for the Minnesota Vikings is, of course, going up against the Bengals this week, then going going into playing in Dublin, playing the Steelers, and then playing in London against the Browns. So that's an interesting twist there because we've talked about, okay, is JJ McCarthy going to go for those international games or not? But no matter what, we know for week 3, Carson Wentz is coming in. He hasn't started a non-week 18 matchup since 2023, and that was with the Commanders. And so for us in our rankings, again, it's not great. Hopefully, you were able to get better options in those single quarterback leagues. If you had JJ McCarthy, though, in a single quarterback league, you weren't starting him. You just are looking for a different backup. But he is QB 28 for us consensus at fantasylife.com. What do you think here?
Well, I hope he performs well because I am starting him in a super flex league
Oh,
where I lost Joe Burrow. So, yes, things have gotten that bad this early, but hey, we just keep going. We fight it out, and hopefully another quarterback emerges off the waiver wire. But look, he gets the Bengals this week. They allowed 290 passing yards to Joe Flacco in week 1, and Trevor Lawrence had 271 last week. Believe it or not, though, the Bengals have 4 interceptions. They picked those
hmm,
guys off 4 times, but yeah, Trevor Lawrence, not surprising. But yes, look, JJ McCarthy was really bad. It was one good quarter out of 8. So I think if you have the skill position players for Minnesota, you're saying, well, maybe this could give them some life, right? It's been bad for TJ Hawkinson. We know Wentz likes to throw to the tight end. So if you have Hawkinson, you're like, okay, hopefully Wentz comes in and looks for him. Same with Justin Jefferson. So, and we've seen under Kevin O'Connell that these quarterbacks have performed well outside of McCarthy so far. So that's
so
what you're
far,
hoping
so
for.
far.
That's what you're
Yeah.
hoping for is that maybe Wentz can at least get the ball in the hands of those skill position players because it's been a pretty brutal start for this Minnesota offense across the board.
Yeah, to say the least, I would think that it's been not as great as we expected it to be. But like you said, we'll have to have interesting conversations if Carson Wentz does go out there and look good in this offense with Kevin O'Connell. I think the one thing too, Adam, for just Wentz to obviously perform well is that they have to protect him better than they were protecting McCarthy for the first at least 2 weeks. I mean, it just didn't look good. What?
No, I think I
Oh.
did see that Christian Darrisaw was back at
Oh.
practice yesterday,
That's
right?
good.
I think
I
I
I
saw
missed
that.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
that would be good news because that's I mean it's an obvious statement to make, but it is you just have to reiterate that they haven't been able to protect McCarthy very well for the first 2 weeks. So now you have Carson Wentz coming in, who again hasn't really had a non-week 18 matchup since 2023. And it is against the Bengals, so at least you have this kind of defense that isn't anything to necessarily fear. But Justin Jefferson, for me, obviously you're starting him. Jordan Mason, we'll mention him in the rankings risers. Those feel like the only guys I want anywhere near a starting lineup, though, to be totally honest, Adam. What do you think about TJ Hawkinson for this team?
Well, the thing is, if you drafted him as like fifth, sixth tight end off the board, depends on who your other tight end is. So in some situations, you probably have no choice but to start him. I mean, clearly he's a low tight end 1, high tight end 2. So I have him in one league now. I wish I didn't draft him. And my other tight end is Dallas Goddard. So it looks like
Perfect.
he's going to play this week, but that's doesn't feel much better either. So I'm probably going to roll with him and hope that Wentz can get him the football.
The last one, I'll mention Marcus Mariota throughout the show, but we still don't know that one. So I don't, you want to plan for the worst, hope for the best here. So maybe Marcus Mariota goes in for Jaden Daniels. We still do not know what that could be. But we do know that Tyrod Taylor's coming in for the New York Jets. Their upcoming schedule, they are at Tampa Bay, they are at the Dolphins, and they are going up against the Dallas Cowboys. And this one's kind of interesting because it feels like the offense shouldn't change that much, Adam, with Tyrod Taylor coming in, because we know that they're a run first offense. There feels like they're going to continue to do that. I think the bigger question is what he is willing to do as a passer, as opposed to what Justin Fields is willing to do as a passer. That's one thing where Garrett Wilson obviously is the guy that he's going to lock in on. But what are your expectations maybe for Tyrod Taylor coming into this one?
Yeah, look, the Jets are just not going to pass that much. Maybe they pass a little bit more with Taylor, but it's only Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson you were
Yeah.
starting anyway. So you're probably just going to continue to start those guys and just hope that uh, Taylor can be productive for the offense and at least move the football. Because last week was just a disaster where Wilson was okay in the end. Brees Hall did not give you what you want coming off that really good week 1.
Yeah, it's I know you have better options out there because he's our QB 29, Adam.
Yeah.
There's just others, especially if you're in single quarterback leagues because that is I know a lot of people's reality right now. That's one of mine, where I was starting Justin Fields everywhere in a lot of places. So hopefully you have better. I mean, I mentioned some guys that could have been on waivers this week, and it's not phenomenal, but Matthew Stafford's taken on the Eagles. You still have Aaron Rodgers going up against the Patriots. I mentioned Sam Darnold. Seahawks are at home playing New Orleans. So hopefully you have better options than Tyrod Taylor out there, except in maybe those super flex formats. That might have been your third, the third guy you put bids on. And then if you lost the other two, that's who you get.
Yeah, super flex leagues, some teams took a beating.
Oh,
And again, a lot of these guys are short term. Taylor could be 1 week. Even though Justin Fields got ruled out so early with a concussion, we are concerned that maybe it could extend to a second week. And then with Carson Wentz, again, it could be 2 to 4 weeks. So those guys are short term, which is why Jake Browning went for so much money because
man.
he potentially could be the guy for the entire season, if not 3 months.
When we're looking at this game here without potentially Jaden Daniels, that's the one that I know everyone's going to look at. That's they're against the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're against the Raiders. It's thankfully, Adam, it's not, a Monday night game or anything like that, because that would stink if we had to wait that long to figure it out. Again, Marcus Mariota was at the podium yesterday, per Nikki Javala, and he was talking to the team. They said if Jaden Daniels is good to go, we'll see him at the podium either today or tomorrow. But that's going to be important. Again, we don't know yet. That's the one thing. Marcus Mariota, you probably didn't pick him up just because we don't know if he's going to start. But we've seen him in this position before. Again, he was, and like Daniels, I mean, he was the second pick and a Heisman Trophy winner. So you know that he hopefully can just be able to go in there, make the offense, one of his own for hopefully just one game until Jaden Daniels is able to come back
I think we'll know pretty early about Daniels. We might even know by
today.
tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah,
tomorrow. I
that's my
hope
guess.
so.
I don't know if this is taken up till Sunday.
It shouldn't be, right? I mean, if he's not practicing, then he's not going.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we'll just wait and see. But Marcus Mariota, we'll talk tomorrow. Hopefully, like you said, Adam, we get more information. But there's not much we can break down yet about upgrading, downgrading. Obviously, downgrading the offense and the weapons. But again, we'll be sure to keep an eye
The
on it.
thing, the thing
Yeah.
with Mariota though is we know he can run. He
Mhm.
filled in last year twice. He had 11 carries, 34 yards, 5 for 56 yards, and a touchdown. So he does give you that rushing floor.
There you go. What are their next? They're up against the Raiders. They're at the Falcons. They're at the Chargers. Those are the next 3 weeks. I don't expect us to be having to talk about Marcus Mariota for 3 weeks, but just in case, just going to throw that one out there. Speaking of, let's go through the rankings, risers and fallers going into week 3. We got some good upgrades, at least at quarterback. You can look and talk about Drake Maye. Let's break down Caleb Williams. Jordan Mason is getting his spot. Jawan Jennings. We're going to go through them and more coming up here next. All right, we're breaking down rankings, risers, and fallers right here on Fantasy Live, Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. We see your questions coming in over on X, so make sure you keep them coming at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis. We'll open up the phone lines here in a little bit. You guys know the drill. Going into the water cooler, and we'll start with those start sig questions. I think one of the bigger quarterback risers here, Adam, that we can talk through is Drake Maye. Again, mid range QB1 going into week 3, and that's across consensus rankings for us at fantasylife.com. Consensus QB9 on the week, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, whose defense we thought would be like a little bit better, but as we just have to go with what we're given for the first couple of weeks. And yeah, I think he's looked good. He's averaging 258 and a half yards, which is ninth in the NFL, 1.5 touchdowns, which is 10th, and then 21 yards, 0.5 touchdowns on the ground, which brings him up to 15th. So what you've seen so far, you're pretty happy with it. So he is definitely an upgrade for us going into this weekend.
For sure. And the one thing you like to see too is he didn't run as much in week 1 because that's part of what we liked about Drake May is what he did last year on not many design runs and 4 carries for 11 yards in week 1, but week 2, 10 carries for 31 yards with that rushing touchdown. So you like to see that. And you mentioned Pittsburgh's defense. Boy, they have been really bad. They allowed
It's
Justin
kind of
Fields.
surprising.
Yeah, I mean, no one expected this. They allowed Justin Fields to look really good in week 1. And then Sam Darnold put up 295 against them. He did throw 2 interceptions, but 2 passing touchdowns. And Pittsburgh's been one of the worst teams defensively, even against the quarterback position as well. So, yeah, you're feeling good about Drake May right now.
Yeah, and I think, the Patriots, like you said, they're using him more in the designed run plays this season, which when we talked about that in the season, it was more of a rumor, right? The Patriots said, "Oh, I think we're going to give him a little bit more give him a little bit more in the run game going into the season." But he actually ranks 8th in the NFL at the position and accounts for 11% of the Patriots designed runs. So, that's good when you see him again. Drake May looking like consensus QB8 going into the week, so he is definitely someone you're happy to start. I look at Dak Prescott all the way up for us QB4 on the week. What could go wrong?
Well, it's
I'm
the
kidding.
matchup here against the Bears, and these are
It's
two of the
good.
worst defenses right now. So the Bears have allowed the most fantasy points to quarterbacks. Dallas is third, so I think people are expecting an absolute shootout here with a lot of points and big performances from the quarterbacks as well. So game totals 50 and a half. It feels like it should be 60 and a half, but yeah, I think people are expecting fireworks in this game, which means it'll probably be like 20-17.
Stop. Why do you do that?
I'm
Don't say
just
that out
saying,
loud.
you know how it is when everyone is
I know.
all in on one thing and everyone thinks, oh, yeah, there's no doubt it's going to be. We know how that
I
turns
listen,
out.
I already cursed myself this week because I said pick 'em felt easy this week. You know what's going to happen? I'll
You're
lose two
getting
or three of
eliminated.
them for
Yeah.
sure. At least two, maybe all three. Who's not buying into Dak Prescott? Oh, I should ask him about this after the show. Dwayne has him ranked QB 11. Everyone else has him at
Really?
4 or 5. I know. Maybe
Dwayne,
should we
what's
call him
going
in?
on?
Maybe I'll send him a message in the break and
Yeah,
say
be like, hey,
what are we missing? 11 is way down there too. I mean, that means he
yeah.
has that means so Dwayne has now I'm just gonna pick on his rankings, but I'm curious what he's looking at here
Okay,
because
so
he has
Allen
Williams
Jackson
ahead,
Hurts. He has Mahomes ahead
May,
too, right?
Jones. He's got Jones ahead. Going to
Daniel
get
Jones.
yes, Daniel Jones.
Ooh.
I'm gonna message him and see. Maybe he's just maybe it's the Cowboys fan. We'll figure it out. Caleb Williams, though, on the other side here, he also is one of our quarterbacks that is upgraded this week. I know people might be a little bit nervous about it, but I will say Caleb Williams is our QB 10 consensus
Yeah.
at fantasylife.com. I think he needs to be though. I know that it hasn't looked pretty, but through 2 games he has averaged 209.5 yards, 1.5 touchdowns. But on the ground, 85 yards and a touchdown. That's the one thing that you look at here.
Well, look, this Cowboys defense is really bad. I mean, they are one of the worst against the quarterback position, and that's with Jalen Hurts not even throwing a touchdown pass in week one. He did have 2 rushing touchdowns, but Russell Wilson just absolutely torched him last week after Wilson looked bad in week one. So they're not getting any pressure. Their cornerbacks are getting beat. So, yeah, look, Williams has had some really good times this year and then other bad plays as well, but we did see him put it together a little bit on some drives, and this seems like a week where he will. So I know I am starting him in several leagues where I had him and Justin Fields. So obviously I have no choice. But even if it was Fields ready to go, I'd probably play Caleb Williams over him this week with this matchup against Dallas.
I think I've seen a lot of Caleb Williams, Drake May questions this week too, and that'll be
That's
closer.
close,
It's a
yeah.
it's a it's a toss up really. I have him 8. No, where am I? I have him 9, 10, 8, 9. Yeah. So it's really close between those two. I'm leaning Drake May, but both could be good this week. That's the other thing. And the one more thing here on Caleb Williams going up against the Dallas Cowboys is that Dallas has the second highest opponent adjusted advantage to opposing quarterbacks, 6.1 points. So like you said, this could be a shootout when we're looking at our projections at fantasylife.com from Xfinity. He offers one of the better projections for week 3 as well. So you like Caleb Williams there. A couple of quarterback upgrades that we needed to talk about. I want to go through some downgrades, though. I know we don't usually like to downgrades guys that were not expected to do big things this weekend. I've seen a lot of questions on Evan Engram, Adam, and we have not talked about him much going into this week, but I want to talk about Evan Engram. I want to talk a little bit more about Breece Hall, and then the Eagles, DeVonta Smith. We have to go there. We're going to bring up those guys coming up here next. Going through fantasy risers and fallers, you can check out all of our rankings at fantasylife.com. All updated. I'll update mine after the show, Adam. It's too early. I haven't looked into it yet, but don't worry, I will. And while you're there, make sure you use that code SXM20. Gets you 20% off any tier 1 or tier 2 Fantasy Life Plus subscription over there. We've got our projections for week 3 ready for you. Start sit tool. Any last minute waivers you want to go and check out. You guys know this. We've got you covered over there. Evan Engram is definitely a faller, Adam, and someone, again, didn't mention him earlier in the week, but now is the perfect time to talk about him because he did miss part of week 1 due to that calf injury. Maybe that carried over into week 2, but I'm curious what you think. Not what's going on with Evan Engram, but what you think his role is going to look like moving forward. So the utilization isn't good. I mean, route participation in week 2 was 56%. And it's one of those things where he is, I think, our consensus tight end 19 going into the week. It's not good. And where you drafted him, it wasn't necessarily crazy expensive, but he was obviously going in the top 10 tight ends during draft season. So you might have better options from some of the later guys you picked up. But is this surprising to you at all, or kind of what you expected?
It's a little surprising, even though I wasn't very high on Ingram, and I don't think I have him anywhere. I definitely don't have him in redraft, and if I do in best ball, it might be one. But yeah, look, the problem is that they're spreading the ball around so much. 11 different players have a reception, and Ingram has only played 38% of the snaps through 2 games. I know he had the calf injury in week 1 where he left. I think that was more late in the game though, but he's not playing as much as we thought. He doesn't have a significant role in the offense. And he also missed practice yesterday with a back issue. So it's just
Perfect.
a lot of different things. Yeah, he should not be near your starting lineup right now. It doesn't matter where you drafted him at this point. It's not look good for him. And I think you're going to see leagues too where he gets dropped.
Yeah, and you wouldn't blame him either. That's
No,
the
I
other
don't.
part. It's just if you need to do that and make room for another tight end, you should just go and do that. Like I think even going to Chigakonkwo this weekend, Brenton Strange, Dalton Kincaid, like you mentioned, it's probably tough if you again drafted Evan Ingram, but even guys that you could have gotten later, Kyle Pitts, I'll mention him. He's 10 tight end 10.
He's an
Uh,
easy start over Ingram. It's not even
for
a
sure. No, but I'm
discussion.
saying if you waited, if like
Yeah.
if you these are the guys that if you waited and you picked up Evan Ingram, you waited to get that second tight end. Even Harold Fannin, by the way, Harold Fannin tight end 13 in the rankings this week consensus. So Hunter Henry should be someone that was going later as well. I'd start all of those guys obviously ahead of Evan Ingram this week.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he should be near your starting lineup.
Disappointing. It's the Joker role where we're always like,
Yeah.
okay, who's going
It's
to be
been
the
a joke
Joker?
so far with that
Yeah,
role.
he's looking at us like, yeah, you guys are dumb. I'm just gonna throw around the buzzword of the he's gonna get the Joker role, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, okay, well then we got to pay attention to him. But wow, yeah, yeah, Harold Fannin, tight end 13 for me this week. Hmm,
Yeah,
seems
you just worry about the matchup against Green Bay, but
yeah,
I
that's the
think
only
that
thing
is
I'm looking
one
at.
way. Green Bay has actually struggled against tight ends this year. So I know it's only 2 games, but they allowed 6 for 79 against Laporta and 6 for 64 with a touchdown to Ertz. So I think that's the way to attack them is over the middle.
DeVonta Smith, should we even go there with the Eagles? It's just it's one of those things where as someone in our GST league who took Jalen Hurts and then at the turn just said, "Well, I'll just get the stack because it's right there with DeVonta Smith." Oh my gosh, this is so annoying to start the season. They ranked 29th in dropback over expected. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Jalen Hurts leads the NFL with a 16% scramble rate, and this offense, to be honest, Adam, they just rarely pass. It's something that I thought, and we talked about in the offseason, that maybe it was going to have to shift a little bit going into this season in 2025. But so far, we just have not seen it, and it's not good. I don't think we should ever have to be talking about DeVonta Smith as a downgrade, but here we are, where he is technically a wide receiver 3 based on our rankings going into week 3.
Yeah, well, this offense is not creative at all with
I
Kevin
hope
Patullo,
they
their new
I don't
offensive
want to say I
coordinator.
hope they lose, but I really that's what's going to make it change, right?
You
Is
would,
if they're
you would
down or if they lose.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. Because again, when you're winning, it's tough to complain. But I was reading something that basically they're telegraphing all their offensive plays that based on their alignment what they're doing.
Oh, yeah,
So
that from The Athletic, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it was a
so
great article.
Yeah, that's the problem right now. And also, again, they are just not attempting many passes at all. So I think there is when you have Brown and Smith, you're just hoping that it gets a little bit better. Because again, there's not much you can do with those guys, right? You drafted them pretty early. They're a key part of your team. And I don't think it can continue like this. There's no way. They will
If they
start to
keep
lose.
I don't well, if they keep winning, they won't change it. It'll just be one of those things where why would we change what's helping us win? But I agree with you. You would think that it can't continue on this way. But again, when you have an offense that just rarely passes, and when they do, like Jalen Hurts, we see him just run. That's the kiss of death for us for fantasy football. So when you look at that, you do downgrade AJ Brown, you do downgrade DeVonta Smith, and everyone around him. So yeah, I don't know. Smith
Yeah,
right now averaging 7 fantasy points per game.
and they're not
It's
pushing the ball
bad.
downfield at all.
No,
So
no.
it's got to change because if not, there will be a team that can beat them.
Maybe this week. Maybe this weekend. Maybe
That
that's
line
the
has
thing.
moved in the
Has it?
direction of the Rams. Yeah, money has been coming in on the Rams.
That's the only thing. Again, it's one of those things where we rarely say like, oh, okay, if they lose this game, then obviously it's going to make a difference. But I think for the Eagles, that is one of those teams where if we see that, hopefully we see a little bit of a difference in the passing game. But right now, DeVonta Smith has definitely been downgraded. We're going to continue on. It is that time to go to the Fantasy Life water cooler here coming up next. And I did do it again, Adam. I did spend money on those quarterbacks in guillotine leagues. Welcome into the Fantasy Life water cooler right here. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. We are going through all the news and notes that you need to know. That is what the water cooler is for, just like on the radio, just like at fantasylife.com. We make sure that you are up to date, all the quarterback changes, all the potential injuries going into week 3. Fantasylife.com, and that newsletter is where you're going to find it in your inbox 7 days a week, 100% free as well. And while you're there, SXM20, you've heard it before, but that code is for you guys because we have the best listeners. SXM20 gets you 20% off any tier 1 or tier 2 subscription. So our rankings are updated if you want to go check them out. We'll talk more about some risers and fallers going into week 3. We've got the projections live as well, and everything else, the start sit tool presented by Xfinity, everything you need. But we are here as well for some of those start sit questions. So make sure you're calling in if you have them. 888-963-2682, or press that new call in button on the Sirius XM app. You can find us on X at KValenzuela17, at Adam Ronis over there too. We'll check those questions, and I've seen some of them come in. So we've got good questions going into week 3, Adam, and it's it's a great day. And I was spending on, and you know what? I will continue to spend on quarterbacks if I need them in guillotine leagues, because I won't survive if I don't have one.
Who
My
did you
teams
get
aren't
to
that
replace
good.
Burrow?
My teams aren't that good. That's the thing, Matthew Stafford.
Oh, okay.
It's not
Well,
bad.
not
It's
too
it's not
bad.
bad.
You
So I
just
really didn't
again,
spend that much.
yeah. So you just need him to have a decent game, so you survive the week, and you hope that another top quarterback is dropped, and maybe you can
Yeah,
get them for a
exactly.
decent price.
Or I'll spend hundreds of dollars. Who knows? Who knows? I'll be out of money by week 6. It'll be great. What could go wrong when bye weeks start coming up? All
Could
right.
be eliminated by then too.
Stop. I won't
No,
be.
I'm
I
just
won't be.
saying. So it could be
No.
worse.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I just don't want to be eliminated because of my quarterbacks, because I didn't try to go get someone. That's the one thing I won't do. So
Yeah, as long as Stafford has you don't
I
even
just need
need
10
a top
points.
game.
That's
Yeah,
all I need.
you
10,
should
12
be able to
points.
do
That's
that.
really
Yeah,
all you
2
need.
passing touchdowns, you're good.
Exact. Oh, 2? Well,
Yeah,
well,
why not?
I'll take 1. I'll even be okay with 1. We'll see.
He had a good game against Philly last year in the snow in the
No, he
playoffs.
didn't. No, he did. Oh,
I
that
mean,
was a great game. Oh my
Philly
gosh.
has held both starting quarterbacks to less than 200 passing yards so far. But the game against Dak Prescott in Week 1, that weather delay really messed up that game.
Yeah, that's true.
I
I
mean, Dak
I
played
I
well that
agree.
game. Mahomes obviously has no weapons right now and had to do everything himself and rushed for 66 yards in that game. But, he just missed a couple passes too. So
Mhm.
Tyquan Thornton deep. So, yeah, you got to hope that
That's
Stafford gets the ball to Puka, Devontae Adams, and, yeah, he can get a 2-touchdown game.
That's someone I picked up yesterday when I saw someone dropped Tyquan Thornton. Again, not someone you can start right away, but if we're talking about Malik Washington or a Tyquan Thornton, if things do come together for those two, it could be interesting. Again, at K Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there. See the questions flying in, so we'll make sure to get to those. A little bit of updates, not really, but yeah, no, it is. Christian Watson nearing a return from the torn ACL. Just let's just add another let's just add another receiver to this Packers wide receiver room and see what happens. But kind of interesting though, because I did see some people start to pick up Christian Watson just in case, and I do actually think in those deeper formats that that could be potentially a good move. Towards ACL week 18 last season, so obviously he's been out ever since then. But they did say that he is definitely, the quote was, definitely getting closer to 100%. Won't rush back before he is fully healthy. But yeah, just that's an update for you. Your guy.
Not this year. I'm
Not
not
well,
doing it. Like, we've seen the inconsistency, and there are still too many receivers there. So if you're in a deeper format, like I did see him start to get picked up too in my leagues with 20
yeah,
roster spots. So you have more bench space there. But what are we going to expect from Watson when he returns? He was inconsistent when he was completely healthy, and they have a bunch of receivers there. So, I mean, I get in a way, like if you're desperate, but I just don't see it. And then he's coming off this torn ACL, and we've heard good things, but we know how this goes. And it's not
for
like he's
sure.
going to step into a primary role in this offense. So, yeah, I'm not seeing it this year.
No, it's an uphill battle. I think you just take him with expectations or hopes that he is able to kind of have some kind of bounce back. But we know any receiver coming off an injury like that so late as well. I wasn't even expecting him, and we don't know. I mean, he's not technically back out there, but I wasn't expecting him till for us to talk about him until maybe November, December,
Yeah,
if
I didn't
that.
think we would talk much about him
But
this
there,
year.
he's not back. He's nearing a return. So whatever that means. I mean, we it still could be November, December, but I have seen him picked up just a little bit over there. I'm with you. I'm not doing it, but this will be the year that since you don't have him on your squads, he'll be like, watch this. Let me give you a great 5 weeks during the fantasy playoffs. It'll be something that will just shake our heads. But someone to pay attention to nonetheless. I think another one that we do care about though is Christian Kirk. Looks like the Texans are expected to get him and Braxton Berrios. I'll just mention him, but you're not drafting or picking up Braxton Berrios. But Christian Kirk has been down for the last couple of weeks, and I think he could actually help this offense. But again, we've talked about the just CJ Stroud, just the offensive line is not good. They need something to get going there, and I don't know if that's going to be Christian Kirk, but it'll be. I don't know where I would rank him if he comes back to start. He would be borderline startable, but you wouldn't love it.
I actually might start him in one league,
Oh,
but I'm
this
hurting
week?
though. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
Ouch.
hurting. So I thought though that Kirk would come in and be that quick hitter because of their offensive line issues, getting him the ball quickly in the slot. So I don't know why they haven't done more to help Stroud and move him out of the pocket. They had that nice play in the game where they bootlegged him, got a receiver open. I'm not sure why they're not doing that more, because if you keep him in the pocket with this offensive line, it's a real problem. So they clearly don't trust their rookie receivers enough yet. We've seen a lot of Xavier Hutchinson. So Kirk could be that veteran that just, get the ball out of hands of Stroud's arm quickly.
I
And
know.
Kirk out of the slot could potentially help that. But yeah, it's not been good. They are facing Jacksonville though. So if there's any week that they can get this offense going, it's got to be this week against Jacksonville's defense.
I'm surprised they haven't done more with Higgins. I thought with Kirk being out that at least a little bit more would be. I don't know. This offense as a whole is not. I thought they would be better. Just hand up, and they can be. I mean, it's only week 2, but I thought we would get somewhere right in the middle between CJ Stroud's rookie season and what we saw last year. I didn't think that it could continue to be that bad. And so far, Adam, they're proving me wrong. They're like, oh no, watch, we can actually continue to be that bad. And I mean, it's really Nico Collins managers.
It's
We say
hurting them.
don't overreact, but man, it is not the start that you wanted for Nico Collins where he was going in drafts. Again, he's another player that because he was so expensive, you have to just keep putting him out there. But it is really just that, yeah, you said it's that bad.
Yeah, Nico Collins only has 6 receptions through 2 games. This was a guy going
Insane.
late first round, early second round. He does have 14 targets, but only 77 yards. And, it started well. That touchdown came early in the game for, I think, 29 yards. And then he was basically quiet the rest of the game. And they have got to figure out a way to get the ball in his hands more. Again, simple throws, crosses,
Mhm.
whatever it is. It's just like get the ball in the hands of your top player, and they have not been able to do that. I mean, he had 9 targets against Tampa, caught 3 passes.
Yep. It is brutal. So you hope that they figure it out, that they get it together. But it's really the week. This will be telling, right? Because the first couple weeks of the season, Adam, we say, okay, are these trends really what we're going to see for the year, or is it something that's a little bit fluky? But once we start getting into week 3, you say, oh, okay, maybe it will be just this bad the rest of the way. So it'll be interesting to see. But again, I'm sorry, Nico Collins managers, I'm sorry. There's just no other way to say it. But based on the rankings, you have to keep starting him and just hope that, like you said, you give Stroud a little bit easier time, easier looks. The offensive line starts gelling together a little bit more. That's what you can ask for over there. Next up here, I'll just say this, not to pile on Kaleb Johnson, but Mike Tomlin said Kaleb Johnson has to earn his way back into the kickoff return role. I think he's someone. Do you think he's droppable right now? If you're 20 round drafts, I feel it's a little different.
No,
But
you
in
can't. Not
others,
in
can you
that.
drop him? Okay.
Yeah, I think in more look because it seems like he's far away from doing anything at this point, right? They haven't trusted him at all.
Yeah.
So I do think it might be tough for some people because they took him eighth, ninth round, but it's not looking good at all.
No, it's
I
not.
mean,
So
2 carries through
no,
the first
it's
two
bad.
games.
Well, and that mistake that he made last week, as a Seahawks
Yeah.
fan, you love it, but that was I mean, you're in he was like you said it. He's already in the doghouse. Now it's even worse. Because that just helped lead the Seahawks to a win last weekend. So, I don't know. You just
That is looking like one of the worst picks so far in drafts.
mhm. He wasn't necessarily cheap. Let me see
No,
if I can
and
find his old ADP.
he was going even earlier in like July, August, and then
He
we
was going
started.
ahead of Warren.
Yeah, oh yeah, there was a lot of drafts he was, and then it started to shift where we started to see, okay, this might be more Jalen Warren involved, and then of course Kenneth Gainwell too, who's actually getting way more involved than him right
Yeah,
now.
it's not good. Not good at all. We'll see if it again changes, but yeah, when we're talking about the rookie running backs, he is one that you're staying far, far away from, to say the least there. We're going to continue here. I want to make sure we get to some phone calls. I know there's a lot of questions going into week 3. So the phone number 888-963-2682, or press that new call in button on the Sirius XM app. I also have some saved here from X as well that we'll get to at Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis over there. But let's hit the phone lines, Adam. Let's go out to Eric in Louisiana. Eric, what do you got for us?
Thanks for taking my call. Two questions, if we can fit them in. First
Yeah.
one's a start get with Swift or McMillan.
hmm And then what's your second question?
And then we've got Trey Benson, somebody dropped on the waiver wire, and I'm wondering if I should make a move or just keep my team how it is.
Oh, well, we
I
can
would
start
add
with that one.
Benson for sure.
You
I mean,
add
I don't know who you're
Benson.
dropping, but he is just cutting into the workload of James Conner right now. He's playing a lot in passing situations. Conner is an older player where he did get hurt towards the end of last season, but yeah, Trey Benson's a guy that's got to be rostered in every league. So I would absolutely pick him up.
And then the other one was DeAndre Swift or McMillan for this
I,
weekend. I think
I
it's Swift. Oh,
do
no, no,
you? I
no.
think it's McMillan against and
I
AJ
don't
Terrell
know.
could be out. He's banged up. I understand this is
I
probably
think
the
it's
best
close.
matchup we've seen for Swift. I do think it's close. I kind of lean McMillan though.
He's got the upside, that's for sure. Especially if Terrell is out. I haven't seen that update.
Yeah, he was.
That would be big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but definitely going back, if Trey Benson, this is for everyone. If Trey Benson is on your waiver wire for whatever reason, I mean that's as close to a 1A 1B situation as we can get to. And so Trey Benson is definitely someone that
That
what?
it just doesn't make sense to me that someone drafted. I'm
People
assuming
panic
Benson, and then
drop.
they drop him now.
But
Like,
they like they pan that's what we say. We always say look at the waiver wire after they've gone through and processed, because sometimes people either make mistakes, they weren't paying attention. I've seen people where they're making multiple bids, but they're for different players, but they're dropping different players as well. Some things happen, but I think Benson right now is in RB4 territory, and he should be rostered in almost every format.
yeah, I mean, I wish someone dropped him in my league.
I'll do that if you send me someone. You want to send me someone?
No.
Okay, fine. That's fine. The no trades thing is just, it's just killer for GST. Let's go out to Vernon out there in Scottsdale. What do you got for us, Vernon?
Hey, Kendall, how you doing? You're a big fan out here at ASU area,
Yes.
former employee on campus, daughter doing the
Nice.
cheerleading
Yes.
and camp at ASU. Anyways, I need a quick question. I've got a trade option with, I have Kenneth Walker and Derrick Henry, Dylan Sampson, Scattaboo, and Brian Robinson. And then brother has Chase, Bucky, Javante, Charbonnet, and Mason. Do I give him Walker for Mason? Thanks.
Okay, giving Kenneth Walker for Jordan Mason.
I would not do
I
that.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, look, we know Mason's the lead back for at least 4 weeks and maybe most of the year, but Jones will come back. He's going to play a role at least in the passing game, and Kenneth Walker has the ability to be an RB1. Obviously, right now, the first 2 weeks, it's essentially been a split with Charbonnet playing more snaps, but I think we all believe Kenneth Walker is the better back, and Charbonnet missed practice yesterday with a foot injury. Again, I don't worry about the Wednesday practices because a lot of if you have any injury, anything bothering you, you're going to sit, right? Your teams are going to be cautious. So I'm really not worried about that. But I just think Walker has a lot of ability in this Kubiak offense. And yes, it's been frustrating the first 2 weeks, but I still think he's the better player than Charbonnet. So
Well, he was way more productive last week when we look at it, and he gave you fantasy points. That's the other part of it. The split, it's only 2 weeks, but the split is pretty even. 9.2 points per game for Walker, 8.1 for Charbonnet. And so it's pretty close. But yeah, I would keep Walker because we've said it before. I know that I was drafting a lot of Charbonnet, and it was just the idea that Kenneth Walker maybe was coming into this season a little bit banged up, but he has the potential to be one of those. We talked about him as a potential breakout guy that could really have a good season in this offense, and I still think that's on the table.
no, I do too.
You just gotta wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just and hope for health. I appreciate you calling in, Vernon. You see that? He's got, we're ASU people, so we've got Cam Scattaboo on our rosters.
Well, you don't because you abandoned him.
Are you crazy?
No, how many drafts did we go through?
No, I did wait too long on some of them, and he was taken from me. You're right.
So I
right
guess you're not as loyal as you say.
Okay, whatever. Vernon knows that I'm loyal to to Scattaboo and Charbonnet. Let's go out and continue on here. Let's go out to Desmond in New Jersey. Desmond, what do you got for us?
Hi. I'm in a 12-man league, the keeper league. I have AJ Brown. His first 2 weeks has been terrible, as you know. But should I keep him or should I? Because I got 2 trades for him. I had someone trying to give me Travis Etienne Jr. for him, and I had somebody try to give me Rico Dowdle and Michael Pittman Jr. And I'm like, ugh. And that's not really what I'm looking for. I would let him go if it was like maybe a Derrick Henry type or, something like that. But I don't know. Should I weather the storm? Do you think he's going to pick up? I don't know. Like, is Jalen Hurts beefing with him or something? Like, why? Like, what's the problem? Like, he's your number one.
Yeah, Desmond, we're with you. First of all, the league mate sending you Rico Dowdle, Michael Pittman trade offers for AJ Brown is just rude, Adam. I would laugh at that one. Travis Etienne, I don't like any of them, but here's the thing, Adam, and Desmond, we're with you. It is awful. We just talked about the Eagles and how they are just they're not passing the ball. We talked about how DeVonta Smith has to be a downgrade. AJ Brown, though, if you try to sell him now, Adam, to me, you're not going to get anything for him because he hasn't shown anything.
Yeah, see, and this is what those offers tell you. People are trying to lowball you because they know that it has been brutal the first 2 weeks, and they're trying to get AJ Brown on the cheap. So AJ Brown's longest reception this year is 8 yards. Every game last year except 2, he had at least a 20-yard reception. He was a big play threat. They were going at least downfield with him. We mentioned with the change in offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, taking over that it has been very predictable. It has been boring. There's been very limited play action. I think it has to change. And I'm telling you right now, when they lose And A.J. Brown has a down game. He might go off because you could see it last week. Like, he wanted to, but in his head, it was like, well, we won the game. So I would sound really bad. So I'm going to just hold back. So, look, if you have A.J. Brown, I think you do have to just stay patient and stick with him. I know it sucks right now and you hate seeing this, but it is 2 weeks. They have to figure out a way to get him the ball more. And again, they need these, I want to say competitive games, but the one against Dallas was competitive and they still didn't pass much. So, I mean, this week they're favored by 3.5 against the Rams. And we saw the Rams give them a game last year. There are concerns, though, with the Rams with pass protection. Are they going to be able to hold up under the pressure against Philly? But I don't think you could take those trades. Like, even ETN, as good as ETN has been, Bayshell, too, looks good. So there's a chance that, again, ETN has done nothing to lose a job the first 2 weeks, but Tootin has looked good. So you feel good if you have ETN where you drafted him, 8th, 9th round, but I don't think we're to the point yet where you can make that deal. So we all know everyone with A.J. Brown is very unhappy right now because he's a guy you took mid-second round, late second round, and the production just has not been there. But I think you need to stay patient and not take these low ball offers.
It's the pass volume. It's been 45 total pass attempts in 2 weeks is not where you want to be. All 5 of their offensive touchdowns have come on the ground. It's all bad. It really is. And so I'm just going to, should we manifest it, Adam? Should we just say A.J. Brown's going to have a huge game? He has a chance, like against the Rams here, you're going to have Witherspoon in for Emmanuel Forbes because Emmanuel Forbes is out. So
he torches Forbes.
Yeah, but he's out. Right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh no. Forbes is in. Sorry, I've got it confused because Witherspoon is on IR. Flipped him around. So Forbes has allowed 8.5 yards per target on 49 targets last year. It's going to be a big game.
Barkley, though, destroyed the Rams last year. I put this out in a tweet yesterday. He had over 200 rushing yards in both games and 4 total touchdowns. So, 255 rushing last year and 205 with 4 touchdowns. So,
just say A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown. Boom game. must start. I want to manifest it so that we can talk good things about Brown for
Brown
keep talking about bad things.
In the regular season against against the Rams, Brown had 6 catches, 109, a touchdown on 7 targets. But in the postseason game, 2 for 14 on 7 targets. Was it snowing the entire game?
I think it started once the game started, but then it was coming down.
It picked up, because I remember.
So I don't really count. I mean, I count it, but I don't at the same time,
We'll look, I have Brown in a couple leagues, so I get it. I feel the pain because to me, A.J. Brown is one of the best receivers in football, and you would not know it based on his stats for the season.
Desmond, we appreciate you calling in. We appreciate everyone calling in. We're going to continue to take your phone calls, look through some of these questions on X as well. We're going to go through Cloaked Identity again here, presented by Cloaked. I've got a fun one for you, Adam, where I'm going to give you some stats from the last 2 weeks for some of these start-sit questions. See if you would start them going into week 3. We're going to do it here coming up next. Oh, we've got everything covered for you going into Thursday Night Football, going into week 3. We've got the best listeners around as well. See your questions coming in on X, so we're going to make sure to get to some of those. But first, Adam, I wanted to do another Cloaked Identity here, presented by Cloaked. And this segment is brought to you by Cloaked, your all-in-one solution for privacy, safety, and security. So I wanted to do this in a different way, Adam. So we're going to do start sits, right? I want to see at the end of this, you can try and guess the player, but we'll go through if you're starting or sitting him going into week 3. But I'm going to give you the previous week's stats and see if you can get them. And then at the end, I'll give you the matchup at least and see if you can get them here. But I want to do start sit. This is a running back. So I'll give you this one. This is a running back here. No running back has played a higher percentage of his team's snaps than this player at 89%. He has logged 39 touches in 2 weeks, but he has not had a big fantasy game. I'll tell you that. But he's got good volume.
He hasn't had a big fantasy game yet? 39
touches.
Okay.
89% of the team snaps. And do you want me to give you the opponent?
For this week? Well, then that would give it away, right?
Well, I know, but I just wanted to, because I'm going to talk about him.
Damn. No. All right. Who is it? What's
All right,
the opponent?
So the Colts have allowed 5.4 yards per carry and give up explosive runs at the 8th highest rate.
Oh, that's right. My man,
Mm-hmm.
Tony Pollard, right?
Mm-hmm. Tony Pollard.
Damn.
I
That's right.
know.
He's had,
It's
I,
been not great to
okay.
start.
So yeah, you're right. Cause he had 20 carries, 18 carries, and he has
Yep.
one reception, right?
Yes,
Because I was
correct.
looking at that yesterday. I was like, wow, how he's not involved in a passing game at all. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Cam Ward's not checking down to him and looking for the big play. I mean, did you see that touchdown he threw to Aya Minor
Yeah.
where he went scrambled to his right, threw across his body? I mean, usually you don't want to do that, but he made the throw on
He
the
got away
touchdown.
with it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
I think there's
Yeah,
potential here with just overall with Cam Ward. I really do think that he's still a rookie. We're gonna have up and down games, but I'm curious with you, Tony Pollard in a start sit. I've got him as a start
yeah, I'm
because
starting him.
I just think that it's gonna come. It's gonna happen here. But like I said, Colts have allowed 5.4 yards per carry, give up explosive runs at the 8th highest rate. I think this is a great spot for him.
Yeah, he's usually around that RB2, like around 20. And you're right, he has not had a big game yet. He's given you, he hasn't hurt you 9.9,
Mhm.
9.2 in a PPR. You would like to see him more involved in the passing, even though he had one reception in week 1 for 29 yards and then one target this past week, no reception. So just 2 targets through 2 games. But yeah, heavily involved on the ground, 38 carries for 152 yards. So it was the Broncos and the Rams. So not the best matchup. So this week at home, a desperate team, divisional game. I think you will see a good game from Pollard. I'm starting him.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Again, we're doing a Cloaked Identity here presented by Cloaked, your all-in-one solution for privacy, safety, and security. I kind of want to do this other running back here because I'm curious what your thoughts are on him. So let's do another running back because I think this is a potential sleeper. Let me just say this. I think this is a potential sleeper for week 3. He played 60% of the snaps in week 2. He had 10 carries, 18 routes run, and 2 targets in week 2. This is a running back. That was double. I'll say this. That was double the amount of pass game usage that we saw from his counterpart in the backfield. I'll say that too.
Okay. He had 10 carries, you said?
Week 2, 10 carries, 18 routes run, 2 targets.
Okay. I don't know.
I think the game script is on their side. This one's harder. This one's way harder than the other ones we were doing, but it's Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh, look.
Listen, I know that was a little bit of a difficult one, but I'm curious with you with the Giants. They've allowed, you didn't even let me get to the Giants. You would have gotten it then. They've
Yeah,
allowed
well,
still.
I could have said Kareem Hunt, but I probably would have said
Well,
Pacheco.
Yeah, the Giants have allowed 5.7 yards per carry to running backs, so that's the second highest rate in the NFL. I've got a little bit of Pacheco, and it has not been good to start the year, Adam. I'm wondering for you if this is the game where you say, you know what, I'm just going to put him in my flex and see what happens here because it is the Giants. And so I'm starting him in places more so because some of my other options aren't great. But what are your expectations for him?
Yeah, look, you don't want to start him if you don't have to, but I am in a similar situation where he is my best RB2, which is not ideal, but I really don't have a better option, so I am starting him. This has to be the week he comes through. Now, they have not given him a lot of opportunity. I mean, last week it's Philadelphia, all right? They're a tough team to run on.
Yeah.
The blocks have not been there. It's not like Kareem Hunt has been better. No one Patrick Mahomes has been their best runner. I didn't realize he was the running back to draft for the Chiefs this year. Week 1, he was 5 for 25, 5 yards per carry, and then they just gave up. So this has to be the week you see something from Pacheco, because if you don't, then I don't know if you can start him at all. And then, do they give Brashard Smith an opportunity? Because again, Kareem Hunt has not been great either, but he did this last year where he was just good enough and they kept sticking with him. But you're not getting any explosive plays from him. And the perplexing part to me is we heard them talk up Pacheco, that he looks better, the burst is back, and then they really haven't given much of an opportunity. So I don't know. I mean, Kareem Hunt's averaging 3.6 yards per carry, so the offensive line is part of it, and they just really haven't given Pacheco a chance. Again, you're going to give him 10 carries against Philadelphia's run defense? I mean, there's not a lot of running backs that are going to excel, and especially with the way the Chiefs are right now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in more of a difficult situation where he's also one of my RB2s. It's not pretty, Adam.
No, it sucks. I mean, it's the worst feeling right now if he's a guy
Yeah.
that you kind of have no choice. So Yeah, it's not ideal right now.
All right. I've got more players, but more. I just wanted to tell you their names than anything else because their stats aren't really amazing. But Trevor Lawrence here, probably more in the sit category when we're looking at Trevor Lawrence. He's thrown. I mean, he just hasn't looked good so far to start the season. It's disappointing as someone that I was hoping. You come in and you say, hey, he's got everything around him to succeed. But what are your expectations for him in this game this weekend? Man, I think, and he's dropped in our rankings as well. Let me see where he is at consensus wise, but it's not amazing. It's not great. QB 17 on the week going up against Houston.
Yeah, and he's going to be a guy that moves up and down based on the matchup, and we know Houston's defense is pretty good. I mean, they really did hold Baker Mayfield in check until that
Yeah.
final drive. I mean, he only had 215 and 2 touchdowns in that touchdown that came late. They did a good job against Stafford in week 1, so it's a pretty good defense. So with Trevor Lawrence, there's going to be turnovers as well. As good as he was last week, he still threw 2 interceptions. So, yeah, this is not an ideal week for him.
And you just hope that he finds Brian Thomas Jr. That's
That
all that we
is
could, that's actually all we could ever want because averaging 8.9 points per game for what the expectations were for BTJ, jeez. Just so, there's a lot of those guys right now, Adam. There's just really a lot of those receivers that you took early that are just not doing it for you.
Well, we all know this. All eyes are going to be on Brian Thomas this week because of what has happened here the first 2 weeks of the season. So it is going to be a big week. I mean, week 1 was more on Trevor Lawrence. Week 2 was on Thomas with the drops and shy to go over the middle. So that's been a big storyline. So something that we're going to pay attention to. And damn, I see some bad news here. Emeka
What?
Egbuka is not practicing today. Remember,
Today?
yeah, he's got a hip and a groin issue. You saw
He
them
was getting
taping him up
taped
on the
up.
sideline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dang.
that's not good.
I didn't see that. And funny enough, well, not funny, but we did just get a question on that on X over there, asking what our thoughts were with the potential for Emeka Egbuka with the questionable tag. Ugh, not good.
I mean, tomorrow is more important, but
Yeah, but the Thursday ones hit a little bit.
it is. But we've seen a
Not
lot
as
of
good.
players not practice on Thursday and return Friday.
Right.
So really, Friday is the key. But I mean, look,
What
he
are
was
they listing? What are they listing it as?
hip and groin.
Oh, hip and groin. Okay.
Yeah. They were
Mm.
taping him up during that game. He did come back in, but I think they were even talking about on the broadcast how he wasn't really explosive in his breaks.
Wow, and I see here from Jeremy Fowler that a week 4 return for Chris Godwin the quote was feels like a real possibility. That not necessarily a report, but maybe more. That's interesting too with the ankle. I would be shocked. Would you be
I would be
surprised?
surprised too. I still
Yeah.
think it's more week 5, week 6. And again, how is he going to produce on the field? He's probably going to be limited when he comes back too.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't expect a full workload immediately.
Yeah, but I mean, good for Chris Godwin managers. Even him like not being placed on IR. Even though we know that they kind of did that so he would be able to practice
Right. He
for
can
these
still miss
next
4
couple of
weeks.
weeks. For sure, he could, and he probably will. But it's still, ramping him up slowly, get him back out there, and we'll see what happens. But good, that's good for Chris Godwin. Not so good for Emeka Egbuka, but we'll keep an eye on that one. I saw a couple other questions here. At K Valenzuela is 17, at Adam Ronis, that I wanted to make sure that we got to. Of course, now Adam, that I'm saying it, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. From Rico here. Need advice, standard league, 1 quarterback, Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold this weekend. I would go Darnold in that one. I have him ranked a little bit higher.
Yeah, I would go with Darnold too.
Yeah, it's you don't have to say it so like
Well, I mean, look,
sad. Come
I'm
on.
assuming that's a Burrow team, I would hope. And
Come on. Someone said Chris said the Christian Kirk revenge game is going to be good. Hey, we do like the revenge game narratives, the birthday narratives, everything else.
look,
Could be
it
fun.
would be nice. Yeah, Kirk going against his former team, ready to be
Yeah.
back.
Why not? Another one here from Jesse. It looks like who would you start, Brenton Strange or Hunter Henry? Ooh, I think that one's closer than some of the others that we've gotten. Let me see.
That is true. I lean Hunter Henry in this one.
Yeah, I have Hunter Henry ranked tight end 14 this week. Consensus tight end 15.
Yeah, he had a good matchup last week, and instead it was Austin Hooper getting most of the
Yeah, well,
production, which was
because we can't have nice things. I don't know what you expected. It's just not going to be easy to this season. It's not going to be easy to get what we need. Again, that was Cloaked here, presented by Cloaked, your all-in-one solution for privacy, safety, and security over there. Always love doing that one. I want to check on the panic meter here, Adam. I want to continue on going through some of these offenses that we just have not seen sparks yet. Continue going through some of the rankings, risers, and fallers as well. Coming up here next. Fantasy football is live. We're getting into week 3. We've got Thursday night football tonight that we will continue breaking down here, Adam, and same with all of your questions coming in. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you right here. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Wanted to go through maybe a little bit of the panic meter. We've talked, I think, you know who's number one? I think we've talked enough about the Eagles, but not much we can do there. 30th in drop back at DBOE. So when you look at that average depth, average target depth, by the way, this is from Ian Hart. It's 5.9 yards, 31st in the NFL. That's insane.
Yeah, like I said, A.J. Brown, his longest reception is 8 yards. He had at least a 20-yard reception in every game he played last year except 2. And I think the lowest he had was 15. And we're not getting anything. So you got to hope that it can change. Because again, yeah, like you said, they won the first 2 weeks, great, but I don't know if they can continue to win like this. At some point, teams are going to figure this out. I mean,
yes.
Look, Saquon Barkley has not had like massive games so far, right? He's had 88 yards on 22 carries, 4 yards a pop, and 18 for 60 against Dallas, 3.3. So he's averaging 3.7 yards per carry on the season. So it's not like he's doing what he did last year. He has 2 rushing touchdowns, and we know Jalen Hurts is running 2. But again, if people are figuring out this offense and they can telegraph when the plays are coming, it's going to get more difficult for Philly. And they've had competitive games. They beat KC by 3. They beat Dallas by 4. And that was the thinking. Was I thought they would have more competitive games where they would have to pass more, and instead they've passed less. So I just don't think this can continue like at this level because they're going to start to lose.
You would think so. Only Aaron Rodgers has a lower average target depth than Jalen Hurts this year. Let me say that that's Aaron Rodgers. That's 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers that has that. So this is.
Oh, now your age is too. Cool.
Get out of here. He is an older quarterback though. Get out of here. What are we doing here? But it's listen. It's just bad. I mean, A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith have 2 combined receptions over 10 yards this season. Zach Ertz has 3. We can just keep going with the bad stats, but we're nervous. I think this is a good spot this week. It should be a good spot this week for A.J. Brown. If anything, maybe they just start getting him going because, like you said, he's just going to be pissed off.
I didn't realize, too, Jalen Hurts has not thrown a touchdown pass yet.
No. It's all been bad. It's all been on. Oh, man. It just.
Where does he? I say I don't have him in fantasy this year. Where does he rank?
Awful. You know where I have him? GST.
Oh.
You know, it's been awful. I can't score points. Allergic.
Well, where is he in points per game? Oh, wow, 24th. That's in 6 points for a passing touchdown. Wow.
That's why I'm saying you didn't see him because you have to scroll.
I know. I was like, all right, he's around 10, 11, right?
No, go to the next page, Adam. That's where he's at. God, it's just awful.
My friend in my home league, he drafted Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Smith.
No.
He did, yeah. I mean, it's funny now, but we'll see. It could change, but I think it's
laughing
pretty
at him. It's so mean.
He might be listening too.
I mean, listen, I drafted, you saw me. I did Jalen Hurts. I did DeVonta Smith back to back. It's fine. Whatever.
How's that working out for you?
Adam, stop. Get out of here. I'll leave. You can take the next.
It is 2 weeks. It is 2 weeks.
It is 2 weeks. Let's see what happens. The 49ers, interestingly enough, 24th in average target depth at 7.2 yards. Explosive rate is at 6.4%, which is 29th. Again, 2 weeks though, and we know that you had Mac Jones in there. But I will say a rankings riser was Juwan Jennings going into this week. If you that's where you want to go with this. I mean, Juwan Jennings has wide receiver 2 upside going up against the Cardinals. I think he's our consensus wide receiver 28 this weekend, which isn't bad. You're kind of happy as a Juwan Jennings manager.
Yeah, look, we weren't sure what was going to happen. He had the contract calf issue, whatever it was, and then they gave him a little more money. He played week 1. Now, he didn't practice on Wednesday due to ankle and shoulder injuries, but he played through the shoulder injury last week. So they're saying he's day-to-day, but my guess is we'll see him play. But just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, but again, I think it's good from what you've seen through 2 games, 22% targets per route run rate. Say that 5 times fast. Ricky Pearsall only at 16% there. I think Ricky Pearsall manager is hoping that that kicks up a little bit. That's not
Yeah,
good.
I am. I
That's
need
right.
a
It's
little
you.
more. Come
Sorry.
on.
Sorry. I took Dewan Jennings more than I did. I don't have much of either, but when I did, I was taking Jennings a little bit later. Yeah, sorry. I guess that is you then. But like I said, a good upgrade for him as well going into this weekend. Want to continue on though with some more upgrades, downgrades that we see for this week, and finishing off some of those questions and any questions you have for tonight. Let's break down this Thursday night game that we've got tonight. We're gonna do all of that here coming up next. You sure are. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us here on this Thursday, getting you ready for Thursday night football and week 3 in the NFL. Saw a couple questions over here on X. I just wanted to quickly hit Adam. One from Fantasy Dad. Love it. What's the status on Isaiah Likely, Jordan Addison any day now? I know. So the Isaiah Likely one, we don't necessarily have a timeline. It should be sooner rather than later. But he had that foot surgery, excuse me, that kept him off the field since I want to say August, early August. And so, listen, Mark Andrews is not playing well though. That's the other part of it, and it's kind of interesting to think if Isaiah Likely comes back, if he's healthy, if he's able to shine a little bit, what that does. But no timeline on him. And then Jordan Addison he has week 3 he has to get through, and then he's able to come back week 4. That was a suspension, not an injury. That was just the suspension that he was serving. So you've got this game this week, and he'll be back week 4. Not with JJ McCarthy though. So I that'll be a tough place to rank him, see where he goes because of this quarterback stuff going on.
Yeah, and we'll see how Wentz performs this week. Likely said he will return very soon. That was his quote
Love
when
that.
they talked to him. So
Like
I
3
don't know
weeks.
what that means. Could be this week, next week, 2 weeks. Who knows? Very soon though. So
I love when they do that. Very
straight
soon.
from
I like it.
Likely.
Listen, hey, I like it. But Mark Andrews has not been playing well. So I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because again, he did this last year, and then people
Yeah, but
panicked and got rid of him, and then he had this strong finish to the season where he scored 11 touchdowns. At least last year, though, we had a reason for it. He was coming off an injury, and he had that car accident right before the start of the season. This year, I don't see anything to pinpoint as to why. Yes, the Ravens don't pass the ball much, but still, you would figure with Likely out that Andrews would have this role. And, he had a ball in the end zone that was ripped out. He had it,
yeah.
could have been a touchdown, and it was ripped out. I think it was Delpit who ripped it out, safety for Cleveland. So if he catches that and it's a touchdown, we're not here in this panic mode. It still wouldn't have been a good start because what it would have been 3 receptions and a touchdown through 2 games. But yeah, this is not what you wanted to see for Mark Andrews, especially the way his season ended last year in the
Yeah.
playoffs. So, I mean, he's
That's not
30 years
good.
old though, so it's not like, again, tight ends at 30. Usually you don't.
It's like their prime, to be honest.
So yeah,
I don't know.
that's a tough. I don't have any Mark Andrews this year, but that's a tough one. I mean, look,
You
if
have
you have
him.
Mark Andrews now, Evan Engram, T.J. Hawkinson, like it's been brutal. And then you're watching these other tight ends that went later or emerge off the waiver wire put up better numbers.
Tucker Kraft, our guy, Tucker Kraft. Love him. Need that to keep going. Maybe I need to rage drop Mark Andrews again like I did last year. Then he'll start playing well. I
To
think
help
that's what
everyone?
happens. Maybe I'll take one for the team and do that going forward. But those were some of the updates that we've seen. Yeah, Jordan Addison, we're still waiting another week, and then Isaiah Likely. What did he say? Soon.
Very soon.
Very
So
soon. Okay, perfect. Thursday night football. I don't even need to ask who you have in this game, but I'm curious where you are with some start-sit questions. I think the lineup locks, obviously, Josh Allen, Achane, Cook, Tyreek Hill. But if Waddle's good to go, are you starting him in any flex situation if people need to?
yeah, I think you can. Again, they should be playing from behind, but he's more in that wide receiver 3-4 area. So not a must start. I think there's probably some good options that you have that you can go elsewhere.
Better options than Jalen Waddle? Are you sure? No,
Yeah.
just kidding. You're like, yes, actually I am. Other side, Keon Coleman, again, it came back down to earth a little bit last week, which was, unfortunate, partly, product of the matchup that you saw in that game as well. But we've seen that this team, sometimes we're going to get that from the Bills where they're just throwing it around. Dwayne had great takeaways from that in the utilization report. I always want it. We always tell people to go look for it, but no Bills wide receiver reached a 70% route participation rate for week 2. Where you at with Keon Coleman? Khalil Shakir, we should add in there as well.
Yeah, again, it's always going to be tricky all year with Buffalo because you get a game like last week where they don't pass much and then you get disappointment. But Miami's defense is really bad. And I think those guys are right around like wide receiver 3, high wide
Yeah.
receiver 4 this week. So, but that when you put them in the lineup, there's always the possibility that you get 3 for 28 just because the game script doesn't pan out. So what you have to do is hope Miami can keep it competitive and maybe we get a little bit back and forth before Buffalo pulls away late.
And Josh Allen wants a touchdown. That's all. That's all because we didn't see it last week. So hopefully
It will
Josh
happen
Allen,
this week. I can tell you that.
You know what? I think I'll bet on that with you. I agree with you there. Should be a good night nonetheless because we've got football and that's all that matters here. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out with us. We're going to be back here same time tomorrow. But as always, go to fantasylife.com. Use that promo code SXM20 gets you 20% off and have a great Thursday. Have a great Thursday night football. We'll see you tomorrow.